Welcome to this tutorial showing you how to create a piece of artwork in response to the artist Jana Paleckova. This is quite an easy response to do, but is a good exercise to get used to making sure that your colours match. And you'll see in Photopea I have opened up this vintage photograph of this young man, and I have also found an image of a toadstool that I want to use on a white background on Google. I'm going to use the magic wand tool to select that background and press delete to get rid of it. I'm then going to use the rectangle select tool to select the whole of the toadstool. Press Ctrl C to copy it and press Ctrl and V to paste it in. It's a bit bigger, so I'm just going to use the arrow tool and shift to resize it without stretching or squishing it. And the idea is to resize it so that the stalk is roughly the size of your person's collar. These will be able to be fine-tuned later, but I want to get an approximate. So I'm just going to zoom in. Okay, next up on the vintage image, I'm just going to use the polygonal lasso tool just to cut out the collar and down and around wherever I feel that the toadstool is, and back again. And then I'm going to make sure I'm on the layer of the photo, and I'm going to press Ctrl C to copy it and Ctrl V to paste it in, and it adds it onto its own layer. And now if I bring the mushroom back and I put it in between the two layers, it now looks like it's coming from his collar. Okay, right, now I can use the arrow tool again just to make sure that it is perfectly sized. Okay, looking good. And once I've done that, I now need to get rid of the man's head from behind. So I'm going to use the smudge tool, which is sometimes hidden underneath the blur tool. And I'm just going to gently smudge the head so it disappears underneath the toadstool. That way I get to keep the same colour of the background. Okay. Right, now it's a case of changing the colours on the toadstool to match the image. So image adjustments black and white to turn it black and white first. Then I'll just zoom out so I can see more of the image. Image adjustments colour balance, and I'm going to bring up the red a little bit, quite a lot, and the blue down. Click OK, and then I'm going to tweak it with image adjustments brightness and contrast. Bring up the contrast, bring down the brightness. And you're going to need to tweak this. This is the idea, that with each vintage photo you're going to need to try different things out. Image adjustments, hue saturation. And I'm going to bring the saturation up a little bit. And image adjustments, color balance again. And bring the yellow up a little bit, I think, by turning the blue down. Okay, and now I just want to add a little bit of shadow around the neck and the collar to make it look more realistic. So I'm going to go back to that top layer and get the magic wand and select everything around that bit that I cut out earlier. And then I'm going to go select inverse, so it selects just that area. And I'm going to go back to the mushroom layer and I'm going to press delete. And that's going to delete the whole of the mushroom that's hidden underneath that layer, because I need to have only the mushroom that's showing, so that when I go to that layer, the mushroom layer, and I double click to apply a layer style, and I go to inner shadow, the inner shadow starts from the bottom of the toadstool, which is right by the collar, and you'll see I've got very, very tiny settings on, and the opacity doesn't need to be very high. Okay, and it's just a very subtle shadow to make it look realistic. And that is this piece done and dusted. I hope you find this tutorial helpful.